Now, it's been 150 days of Sir Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. It's been the kind of car crash that the M6 will be proud of. But forget the 150 days. I've been off for 2 and a bit weeks. Let's just have a look at what's happened in that short space of time. We've had farmers' protests. Then it emerged that Labour was crippling British farmers to raise £520 million, but they're giving away £560 million to foreign farmers in foreign aid. Keir Starmer then, quotes, fled like a rat out of the back door whilst farmers protested the Welsh Labour.
Keir Starmer's recent apology to British society was more than just a typical political manoeuvre. It was a plea for help in response to rising discontent and anger. After facing months of criticism from various quarters, and with his leadership in jeopardy, Starmer ultimately chose to take this step. His actions have sparked intense debate nationwide, particularly following decisions like pension cuts and a controversial inheritance tax for farmers, which ignited widespread outrage. This shift was not coincidental, it was a deliberate strategy driven by serious intentions. The policy was altered to liberalize immigration, using Brexit as a means to transform Britain into an experiment of a unified nation with open borders. Remember the phrase Global Britain? It was more than just a slogan, it was a facade masking a policy lacking genuine support, all while pretending that nothing was amiss. For many, this apology seemed overdue and insincere. Starmer finally acknowledged that his approach was flawed, admitting to significant mistakes, and recognizing that the party's connection to society had been severed. But what prompted this change? Clearly, Starmer is facing immense pressure. The Labour Party's popularity has been declining, and his leadership is increasingly questioned, even by his own team. In a rare display of humility, he recognized the disconnect between what his government was offering and what the public truly desired.
What the British people are owed is an explanation. Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck, it isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident. Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders. Global Britain. Remember that slogan? That is what they meant. A policy with no support, of which they then pretended wasn't happening.
With many voters expressing dissatisfaction, this may be his final opportunity to turn things around and rebuild trust. The timing is crucial, especially in light of a petition calling for his resignation that has garnered 3 million signatures. The public's anger is palpable, creating a charged atmosphere. It's not just the discontent of political opponents, but also the growing disappointment among his own supporters, who are starting to lose faith in him. By calling for a reset, Starmer candidly acknowledges that he is not the leader the country envisioned. Will this moment be able to alter the trajectory of events, or will it be seen as yet another failed attempt to mitigate damage? Only time will reveal the answer. However, one thing is certain, Starmer understands that time is not on his side, and his options are dwindling.
Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves have allowed asylum seekers to live in their spare homes. Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. They're profiting off the fact that you now pay for them to live on Downing Street by letting out their spare houses. Easy mistake to make. The Telegraph reports that the Prime Minister is now a landlord. It's believed that the home that he bought for £650,000 in 2004 is now worth a cool £2 million. And he could be making between £3,000 to £5,000 a month from renting it out. The Chancellor is also doing rather well. Her husband, who it will come as no surprise for you to learn, is a top civil servant, and Reeves reportedly makes 74 grand a year alone from renting out their house and a 2-bedroom central London flat. It's reported that Reeves also has a house in Leeds, so that's quite the property portfolio, but it's nowhere near as impressive.
This signals that there is more to come, as he hopes it will pave the way for a long-awaited change in leadership. But is it sufficient? Can an apology truly resolve everything, or has the damage been inflicted so deeply that it cannot be repaired? Following his apology, Starmer is not planning to sit idly by and wait for things to improve on their own. No, he is prepared to take action. He aims to revitalize the Labour Party with a complete overhaul. Acknowledging his significant mistakes, he is determined to rectify them and is ready to seize every opportunity to regain the respect and support of the public.
There's some extraordinary celebratory scenes outside Britain's prisons where in some cases serious career criminals were released. And this to make way for, yes, rioters, but equally those who've said unpleasant things on Facebook and elsewhere on social media. Does the Prime Minister understand? There is a growing feeling of anger in this country that we are living through two-tier policing and a two-tier justice system.
I'm angry to be put in a position of having to release people who should be in prison because the last government broke the prison system. And the Prime Minister was repeatedly warned. He had his own release scheme. He was repeatedly warned that he had to adopt the scheme that we put in place. The former Justice Minister said if we don't do it, we'll have to get down on our knees and pray.
Now that Starmer has finally issued an apology and called for a fresh start, everyone is eager to see what he will propose next. The public is weary of empty promises, and following controversial decisions regarding pensions and inheritance tax, their skepticism has reached a tipping point. People were outraged when the Labour Party, under Starmer's leadership, chose to cut funds for pensioners and increase inheritance tax, which significantly impacted farmers. This policy sparked a wave of indignation and was widely viewed as unjust and inappropriate. As he embarks on this new phase, it is likely that his focus will be on addressing these missteps and rebuilding trust. But will he succeed? Only time will tell, but expectations are high, and the public is demanding genuine change.
Well, our electoral system says we have to endure another 150 days, but you know, the question should be how much damage is he going to cause in the next 150 days? You've just gone through what he's done in the first 150. And you know, he's talking about this relaunch, this reset that's going to happen on Thursday. You know, this is just the act of a desperate, floundering government. He doesn't need... he calls this relaunch, Patrick, the most ambitious plan for government in a generation. This is what his manifesto was supposed to be. This is what his budget was supposed to be. This is what it was in the King's Speech. All of that was supposed to reset this country after the Tory.
The petition against Starmer is more than just a minor protest. It is a genuine cry for help, a wake-up call that cannot be overlooked. With 3 million signatures demanding his resignation, it became evident just how deeply society feels disappointed and opposed to him. Initially, Starmer dismissed it, even laughing it off, thinking it was merely a temporary expression of discontent. However, this dismissive attitude only fueled the anger of those who wanted to be heard. Now, after months of grappling with the fallout from his negligence, Starmer has shifted his approach. His unexpected call for a restart is a desperate effort to demonstrate that he is truly willing to listen and make changes. But therein lies the challenge. Can trust be rebuilt after he disregarded a petition signed by 3 million people? His initial response only heightened discontent and skepticism, leaving the public feeling utterly bewildered. Will his efforts to regain the public's trust be successful, or is it too little, too late?
The problem is they're in a position of power now, and it's through lies. You should be truthful with the British public about what they were going to do when they was in power. Julia, if you or I applied for a job, and after 3 months we couldn't do the job that we said because we...
There it is. I mean, that was his thinking. He probably didn't even imagine it would do what it's done. My only take, Simon, on this is I don't know what it achieves.
Yeah, well, you know, you could count on one hand the number of petitions I've signed in the last 35 years. I rarely ever sign petitions, but I've signed this one because I think we need to show the wider community, the wider population in Britain, that we are not happy with this government and the way that they've behaved to gain power and the way that they're behaving now that they are in power. So I think it's having a big impact. And as you pointed out, I think 10 Downing Street will start questioning the numbers as they steadily...
A mere policy review is clearly insufficient to rebuild trust. Starmer needs to do more than just apologize. He must demonstrate that he truly comprehends the public's anger and dissatisfaction. To win back voters, he must show a genuine transformation in Labour's approach. This entails presenting real, practical solutions aimed at alleviating the cost of living and developing effective economic plans and strategies that genuinely benefit everyday people, rather than just the wealthy or large corporations. Restarting under Starmer should involve more than just empty rhetoric. The public is calling for change and wants to see tangible action, not another lifeless press release. If he can address these issues directly, he still has a chance to regain trust. However, if he fails to do so, the damage may already be beyond repair. What are your thoughts on this video? Share your opinions in the comments and see you next time.